Alright, and we are live. Hello. So I did... So yeah, I guess the first thing to mention is I did a bit of stuff off stream. Nothing particularly interesting. Nothing productive, really. What I did was I turned the old factory off. So all of the truck stops are disconnected. I believe all of the factory carts have been removed. I'm pretty sure I got all of them, but it doesn't really matter if I didn't. It's all stopped. So some of these factories probably have, like, I don't know, maybe this one? No. So some of these factories might still have resources like stockpiled that they're using to construct things. Like this one, yeah. So this one takes iron ore and copper ore. There's still some left. I figured may as well get some free sync points. But the entire old factory basically no longer does anything. It just sits here. The only thing left in here are the dimensional storages and the stockpiles, so if you come down here and see, we still have a bunch of motors feeding into a dimensional depot. That's fine. Like, I don't know. We'll use them up eventually, and then if we need more Mercer spheres, we can... So yeah, we're going to use these up eventually, and then shift them over to the new factory equivalents. But for now, it's just easier to leave them there. Alright. Is there anything else I did? Oh, the other thing I did was incredibly minor, is I stuck a summer sloop in one of the project parts productions. So if we head on over to the modular engines, it is slooped. The versatile frameworks and ACUs are not. Maybe they should be, but they're not. So let's, I guess, head on over there. Oh, and I did notice one bug that I didn't fix because it wasn't super major in the ACU production. It's just that the output isn't actually connected to the output, so it doesn't go anywhere, but not really an urgent thing that needs fixing, since we're never going to get more than a stack of them anyway. So yeah, if we head in here, and we head all the way over to the right, and we pop in this building, you can see that this hooks into nothing. So we just need to do that, and then get this to connect up somehow. Like that. And done. It's also not connected to any meaningful output in terms of like a truck stop or anything. Is that's going to be something I need to fix. So let's find... I guess we're just going to have to build one for the modular engines as well. Hang on, is this the modular engines or is this something different? I believe that's something different. Yeah, so these are the modular engines, and they are also just outputting into nothing. So we're going to make a truck stop so that these can start piling up. And I guess that's going to have to be all the way over here. Oh, that's probably what this truck stop here is for. Yeah, I've got this truck stop here for that. Okay. So let's just grab a belt. And bring these guys out. How are we going to get them over? I guess we can jump across and down. And then across and in. Alright, so that's the ACUs handled. Next up, the modular engines. So let's get all the way over here. And for these, it's probably going to be easier to go around the back. So if we just like take these around here. And continue looping this around. Then this should bypass pretty much all of the maze of belts on the other side and just get right over to the output. So then we loop in here. And up. Now we're right here, so we can go up there. And across and down. And it's a bit of a long journey, but they can make it. Alright, so now, in terms of how much we have built up, the ACUs seem to have made it already. Oh no, they're doing that whole thing where they fill in every little nook and cranny first. Got it. There's some there. But I think I saw we had like 40-ish. Which is a pretty good amount. As far as the modular engines go, they're moving along on a belt, so it's going to be harder to tell, but I think we have hopefully have a good number of them. Yeah, this is running at 30-ish%. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was full. Actually, that looks like that might be the case. It might have filled up when it was summer slooped. There was weird stuff going on with smart plating earlier, but I think that weird stuff has been resolved. It was just a buffering thing. Various spots needed to fill up. Alright, so we have those truck stops. Now, there's also the versatile frameworks, which I believe are over here somewhere. I think. Not gonna lie, I don't exactly remember where the versatile frameworks are. But I think they're over this way, so I'm gonna head over this way and see if that's where they are. Yes, we have versatile frameworks here. Alright, so how is versatile framework production going? We have a couple stacks at least. And if we head in here, it is running at 100%. Alright, that's good to see. Yep, alright, cool. Nothing to worry about there. That's just going to be trickling along. Alright, so if all of that is working... How many summer sloops do I have? I have 5, and I can probably scrounge some from somewhere. But I don't know really what else I need to sloop. Like versatile framework production. Yeah, okay, let's actually do the math real quick. So this is modular engines. I've already slooped this one, so it's up to 2 per minute. And 500 is 250 minutes, which I guess we'll just count in those terms. 250 minutes is still several hours, but not like 8 hours. It's like 4 hours, right? Actually, let's do that math. 250 divided by 60, just over 4 hours. Which means theoretically, like, it would be done by the end of... It would be done by next stream, basically. So this is the ACUs. Theoretically, they would be going at 1 a minute. There's an automated wiring problem, because I'm pretty sure we're just not producing enough Caterium ingots. But even still, it's 74%. So 1 would be an hour and a half. Hang on, wait. 100 divided by 0.75 would be 133 minutes, so that would be a little over 2 hours, which is a lot less, so that doesn't need to be slooped or increased in any way. Then we head over to Versatile Framework, which also has the advantage of a rather significant head start. So Versatile Framework production is this one here. And it is 5 a minute. 2,500 divided by 5 is 500 minutes, which is a lot of minutes. However, we don't have to make 2,500 because this has been going for a while, so find this box. That's 100, 200, 300, 400, 800, 900-ish. So it's 2,500 minus 900 is 1,600. 1,600 divided by 5 is 320. 320 divided by 60 is 5.5 hours. Alright, so Versatile Framework, even with the head start, is going to need to be slooped to finish anytime soon. So let's throw that one in. And just check power, still fine. We've saved on a lot of, well, mostly max power, but power in general because the old factory has been turned off. So we have a lot more breathing room because none of those machines are running. Alright, so that is that. Then I would like to expand the modular engine production, which is going to require expanding smart plating production. So we have smart plating, we have rubber, we have motors. So if we add, if that's 2 a minute and it's 500, then I guess we should count that for the head start because there are probably a good number of them in there. 21. Alright, never mind. So if it's 2 a minute and it's 500, that's 250 minutes. If we added another layer, it would be 3 a minute. So 500 divided by 3 would be 166 minutes, which would be like 2.5 hours. So if we did that, we would theoretically be able to finish, like during this stream, maybe. So let's start, because we're going to have to double smart plating production to do that. So let's start off with that. Blueprints. Smart plating V2. I need to organize all this. Building mode blueprint, auto connect. And we line it up and pop it in. Then we fly up. And we find a conveyor pole right there. And bring this down. And then we fly back up. I need to get a jump off of that. Please, let me jump. Let me stand on this ledge. Get a good jump in to gain some height easier. And I hope there weren't any bugs with this, but it seems to be functioning now. So that smart plating production increased. I'm going to let that run a little bit just so that it can properly get started for the sake of getting this all set up. And then I'm going to run over here to this one, which is the modular engines. And see, versatile framework, smart plating, modular engine V2. Blueprint auto connect. And it's lined up properly. Alright, so we pop that one in. Then we get up here, we find a power pole. Have to get all the way up to this one. This one was never power pulled because it's a single building. Let's just bring the power off to a random wall socket and then down. Alright. So that should accelerate things enough. Hopefully. And can't quite fully sloop this. We only have 3 summer sloops. Alright. That's that. Smart plating production is going to be all messed up for a while because it's filling more buffers and stuff. But hopefully it should be enough to get it all sorted. And now to recap, we have 250 divided by 60. Is that right? Is versatile framework production still a problem even with the sloop? Let's head over here. So I think that's the steel production. Or no. This is definitely not the steel production. It was just using it. So we head down here. This is versatile framework. It's 10 a minute. So 2,500 is, well, it's 1,600 because it's been running for a while. So 1,600 divided by 10 is 160. 160 divided by 60 is 2.6, which is a little more than 3 hours, which means theoretically we should be fine. Alright, so the next thing we can do is we can just expand Caterium ingot production, which probably won't break anything. And I also should be... I started working on the spreadsheet. I didn't get very far into it. So I should be working on that as I do this. So I'm going to put the Caterium, Pure Caterium V2, Blueprint Auto Connect, missing a couple iron plates. We'll wait for that to show up. And it should just be a couple seconds. And then you can plop this in and hopefully get enough Caterium production to make everything work. 480 out of 509. 490 out of 509. 500 out of 509. And in we go. Now we get up here. And I believe that this would be where the power pole is, and snap that down. And boom. Deuterium production enhanced. Now, is the deuterium production actually functional, or were there bugs in it? That's another thing I need to figure out, but for now... Okay, I see a problem already. The output looks like a Mark 1. Don't want that. Yeah. You can be a Mark 4 belt. That will be fine. Alright, so now we should put the deuterium into the spreadsheet. So, blueprints, deuterium ingots V2. Where are you? Pure deuterium V2. 96 deuterium ore, 96 packaged water, 48 ingots. Alright, so I make this 48. And then I have to scroll over to deuterium ore, which is that one, and I make that one 96. And I scroll to packaged water, and I make that one 96. And then I go there, and there are 2 floors. Alright, so that's deuterium into the spreadsheet. Done. Alright. So now we need... So we have that. Let's check in briefly to see if there are any immediate failures. And if there are, we're going to fix the deuterium blueprint as well. Alright, it looks like there's a problem. And that problem is empty canisters. So the empty canisters aren't getting out? Is that just a problem for the top level? Okay. We're gonna have to find where that problem exists. Somewhere between here. Somewhere between the bottom floor. Alright, so let's get to this. Do you have any empty canisters coming out? No. I'm going to take that apart. And run it back through again. Alright, didn't fix the problem. So we're going to have to head up to the top floor. And they're going all the way down to here before they get stuck. So let's try rebuilding that. And it doesn't work. Alright, let's try taking this entire thing out, which is gonna kinda suck. Alright, so that entire thing comes out. We also need to take that out. And we make sure that is set as input, so it'll go down. Alright, this is the second floor, so we don't actually need that splitter, but we do need the merger for this to come in. So we put that in. They should go down. And they don't go all the way through. Alright, we're going to try fixing this one again. So if we take that apart, put it back in there. Nothing. Wait, what? Deuterium ingots. Was I just entirely doing the wrong one? Okay, well, I'll take this one apart then. And it looks like that floor hole is not cooperating. So if I do that, then nothing. So wait, if that's Deuterium ingots, and that is nothing, then this... Hang on. I want to confirm, because I'm pretty sure that the empty canisters were the second output. Okay, no, the empty canisters were the far right output. Deuterium ingots were next to them. Alright. So we have that going down there. I guess now I'll try rebuilding this. Alright, it's not snapping in. Alright, yeah, these mergers cause all sorts of problems, don't they? Okay. This whole thing is going in the wrong direction. Is that the problem? So if I head back down here, and I look at this, take that apart, that needs to go down there. Alright, now, if I come up here again, then this should go in the right direction. And then we stick the merger on it. We attach the belt into the merger, and we'll attach that into there just to be sure. And now the empty canisters are successfully going down at least through this floor. Will they go down all the way? No, they won't. Yeah, you got hover pack. Yeah, hover pack is a big deal. It's very, very convenient. I really cannot wait to get hover pack. It'll make everything that's going on here so much easier. Alright, we got that working. Deuterium production should now be successful. And I'm going to head back to the blueprint device and try to fix that properly on that side as well. So yeah, currently we are basically just making various fixes and upgrades to the factory while waiting for project parts to come through. And one of those is increasing deuterium supply so we actually have enough. And learning that the deuterium blueprint doesn't work and we need to fix it. So let's head over to the blueprint device. Alright, to the blueprint device where we can make the fixes to the deuterium blueprint, and hopefully we can get it right this time. It's kind of hard to tell whether it works or not because the blueprint designer doesn't actually have resources flowing through it. Alright, so we load that one up. Then we come up to the top. Alright, so let's take that lift out, and hopefully that's the only one I need to remove. So we rebuild that lift, and it's definitely going down. Alright, and then we make it down to this floor, and we're going to need to remove all of this. And make that go down. And we need to go down to the bottom floor. And that looks like it's working, so hopefully it is. We can't have broken it more than it already was. So we're going to save that and clear. Alright, so that is deuterium done. Alright, so what is next to upgrade? Okay, so yeah, the other thing that I guess you probably would have missed if you're just tuning in is I managed to finally dismantle the entire old factory. So it is now completely turned off. I found a way around the crash. It was the cause of the constant crashing was that my inventory was being filled up very quickly and being sent to a giant dismantle crate, and I think that was the cause of the crash, so I just made sure my inventory never filled up. Yeah, so I just made sure my inventory never filled up, and I was able to pretty easily remove all the factory carts and disconnect all of the truck stations from power. So this just sits here doing nothing now. Yep, the old factory had a good run, but ultimately, it was sort of doomed to failure from the beginning. Yeah. It's definitely one of those things, because I think the fact that it sends it all into one giant dismantle crate instead of a bunch of tiny dismantle crates is brand new, in the experimental version. So it's not really surprising that there are bugs relating to it. Alright, so the next thing I need to do is I need to keep running through and finishing this spreadsheet that I've started. Because obviously the old spreadsheet was for the old factory, which no longer exists. So let's go here. This is packaged water. And it is 2 stories. So let's check what Water Packager Mark II is. 480 in, 480 out. Alright. Let's see here. Packaged water. Set that to 480. Set the number of floors to 2. And set the amount of water used to 480 times the thing. 480 times the number of floors. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong cell. It's supposed to be this one. Sorry, there's not really much of a good way of showing this on stream that I know of. But, alright. That is water put in. And next up, we could do, I don't know, the iron ingots. I believe I already did this. Did I? Yes, I already did iron ingots. That was one of the couple I got to. So then I guess we'll move over here and figure out concrete. Alright, so concrete, we have 1 floor, takes packaged water and limestone. So it's 288 limestone, 240 packaged water. Alright, concrete. Where are you in this giant thing? There you are. How much does it make? 192. 192. It's 1 floor. And 288 limestone per floor. Hang on, which level is this? This is row 19, column S. So S19 is 288 per floor. And then, let's see, packaged water is 240. So I-19 is 240. All right. Concrete is in the system. Oh, I may have messed up somehow. Where is it saying that I'm using 355 concrete? Oh. S is not the right column for that. That would require using concrete to make concrete, which is definitely wrong. We're looking for limestone, which is row M. Alright. Concrete done. Good old making spreadsheets. Now, I should probably just make the spreadsheet off stream later. I think everything is either correct or close-ish to correct. So with at least with the boost to Caterium, it'll probably be fine. Yeah, it's the sort of thing where, like, I can't really show it on stream very well and it's also literally just so like the entire content would just be me like staring at something you guys can't see, typing in numbers you can't see, and it's like that's no fun. If I had figured out a good way of showing it on stream, I might bother doing it now, but all right, let's just check. Is this all working properly now? Up to 60%. Okay, wait. All right, so then that. Yeah, okay. Everything should be working on this front. There was a Caterium shortage earlier, which is why I was upgrading the Caterium. Yeah, it's probably, I don't know. If I really sat down and thought about it, I'm sure I could do it, but like the problem is the way I'm doing it right now, I'm switching between the two very quickly and having to fiddle with OBS every time. I don't know. It would probably be easy, but I don't like messing with OBS stuff in stream. Alright, so we are now probably getting enough adaptive control units. Alright, so I think that should be everything functioning properly. Alright. So the other thing that I wanted to do this stream was tidy up the factory. So I have a plan to solve congestion. So currently, one of the problems the factory is facing is there are a whole lot of tractors, and sometimes they all wind up in the same place at the same time, and things get very messy. And the more I expand the city for more technologies, the worse that will get. However, I have thought of a way around it, and basically what I do is I create basically I I wall off sections of the city. So what I would do is I would say that this is the city as it exists up till the end of phase 3, and I'm going to be done expanding this part of the city, and I'm going to instead move to a different part of the city, which is going to be all the new stuff from phase 4 and on. And then whenever I need something from the old city in the new city, I can basically bring a truck out. So if this were an example, yeah, containment zones. So if this were where the new city was being built, I would have a truck stop here that just takes in iron ingots, and then I'd have another truck stop right next to it on the other side that just exports iron ingots. So now for the new portion of the city, when it needs to get iron ingots, it wouldn't have to go all the way in there amidst all of this traffic. It would just go here. And then it would only have to deal with the traffic for its section of the city. So if I do that, then effectively what that means is that everything going on in this section of the city is basically going to be locked at like this point in time. Like, I'm going to add basically one new tractor for every output to go to the I guess the interface between the two sections of the city, and that would be it, and there would be no new tractors forever. So knowing that, I can do the thing that I've wanted to do for a while and make individual giant loops. So I would have one tractor bringing packaged water to everywhere that needs packaged water, one tractor bringing plastic to everywhere that needs plastic, etc. And I would know that that would work because nothing new is being added to this part of the city. So, I think we're going to get started on that today. So what I need to do is first I need to make sure that there's nothing in here that's super urgent that I don't have. So let's just go to anything. Any parts. Is there anything here that I might want a dedicated factory for? Maybe modular frames. Let's see. I have one for steel pipes. I'm looking. I see a lot of things which are either easy to make inside of a blueprint, or I already have. AI limiters, maybe. All right. Let's make a list of things that I might want to make in this portion of the city. So, regular modular frames, I don't have a factory for. I don't need rods or cable or any of these things. They're easy. They're easy and not used much. So I have one for steel. So that should also cover steel beams and pipes, as I can just make them off of that. I don't really need sand for anything. I don't really need quartz and silica stuff. I could do encased industrial beams. Encased industrial beams, because currently I'm producing them like not on the factory. I'm producing them in some random box on the ground. Stators are relatively easy and not used for all that much. Motors I have, Caterium I have, Quickwire is just a single constructor. AI limiters are a maybe. AI limiters. Crystal oscillators I have, black powder don't need, sulfur don't need. At least not for anything in this phase. Petroleum coke is basically completely optional. I could do circuit boards, that might be handy. And then, let's see here. None of the rest of this stuff either. Alright, but realistically, if I need those things, I can just make them in the new portion of the city. So I think we're just going to leave it as is. Say that this city was enough to get me up to the end of Phase 3. So let's start working. So what we need to do is we need to look at each individual ingredient and figure out where it goes. So iron ore. I believe iron ore exclusively goes to iron ingots. So that's fine. That's already automated. Alright, packaged water is going to fuel, iron, caterium, and concrete, I believe. I believe the current truck isn't going to all of those. Let's see, are there multiple trucks stopping here? Looks like it. Although I guess really, how bad is the congestion even? It's not that bad, right? I might not even need to do this for some of these. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like how little work I can do while still having this idea function, basically. And I think the answer is I can do very little. I think I'm just going to run the tractors to the interface and then just see how that works. And we can really focus on reducing congestion here if it gets to be an actual serious problem. Alright, so the interface, I want it to be relatively spread out. So probably just like extend this road along there and have the next portion of the factory be over here. So I want the interface to be spread out so that we don't have a huge number of tractors going on like one giant street in order to get there. I want plenty of intersections so that they only have to go through part of the street. So let's just start expanding out this road. And let's see, how many road sections do I think we need? Probably just 2, and then an intersection, and then 2, and then an intersection, and we'll just repeat that for a while. Let's see if that works well here. So if we have a blueprint there, and a blueprint there, so then this would have 2 truck stops in it. And then that would be pretty fine. I think 2 would be manageable, and then they could like go in the nearest section and then immediately out, and that would keep it from getting congested. Alright, so yeah, let's continue building like this. Intersection, 2 road sections, intersection. Don't have the offset like that, obviously. Road section, road section, road intersection, road section, road section, road intersection, and we'll do one more for now. Section, section, intersection. So now we have this giant thing. And now we need to attach this to the city in multiple locations so that we don't have that much congestion on that side either. So we'll bring this road back and hook it in. And then this road can also go this way and attach in, which I believe is just lined up here. And we're going to try to use these sort of extraneous roads when possible to access this, because they should be relatively empty aside from what we're building right now. Alright, so then we go there and in. Alright, so we'll do something like this. And now we need to put down a lot of truck stops. Unfortunately, a very large number of truck stops. I'm going to need more encased industrial beams and more concrete for this to work. So let's head back. Somewhere down here on the ground is the encased industrial beam production. So I can just go there and grab a whole pile. I think that's these guys down here. So let's grab a whole giant pile of encased industrial beams. And then find our way back up using this convenient ladder that I put here. Alright. We ladder on up. And now we're also going to need a giant pile of concrete. So let's head over here and grab those. Ah, that one's empty. Alright, we're just going to fill the inventory up. And head on over. Alright, so you head over here. Alright, now we can start building our giant massive truck stops, which will be facing in. We also need iron plates. I don't have anywhere on the factory for iron plate production, so I'm going to have to head all the way back down to the extremely ancient original storage down by the hub. So let's get over here. Should be a hyper tube somewhere. There it is. And down we go. Alright. And the drop. And now we just need to make our way over. Grab some iron plates, which is this box here. And we need to empty some junk out of the inventory. So let's just get some of this stuff out. And then grab a whole bunch of stacks of these. And then head back. Alright. We should be able to build a whole lot of truck stops now. Let's make our way over and start building those. Alright, almost there. Really gather some speed by doing this whole slide jumping thing. I don't understand why, but it certainly works. Alright, so then we just put in more floor tiles. And make sure that they don't overlap or anything. We have the gap between them. Alright, then there. And so this giant array of truck stops So this can handle a whole lot of resources, right? Like, this is 2 each, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh shoot, this one isn't lined up properly. lined up right? Yes. So then we need to take that one apart and put it in there. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 resources that can be transported between the sections of the factory this way. So let's put the rest of these truck stops in. And then figure out what exactly we're doing with what exactly we're bringing over. We do need another batch of truck stops on the other side in order to have the next portion of the city have access to this. So let's build... Actually, no, we're not going to build that road there because these are separate. The entire point is that there is no road section, that there is no trucks traveling between these two sections. But I think, just for the sake of physically getting over there, we do need something to hook off of. Alright, so now we have this. Which is, I guess, ever so slightly off alignment with the old city, but that's fine. It doesn't matter because that's the entire point. So once again, we have our roads. And our intersections. And it does slightly disturb me to have them like this, not gonna lie. Wait, I just realized I made a mistake. This road isn't supposed to be here. There's supposed to be... I need to put the other section, the other set of truck stops in. So this road has to be removed. Maybe we have to put just like a single wide foundation here and then connect these truck stops up to the other ones. Alright, foundation goes along like this. Alright, just a bit more foundation. And oop, that autosave almost threw me off a little bit. Alright, then we also need the foundation inside of these so that they can make it back to the factory. So that gets that. And that gets that. I guess we're going to have to think a little bit about these intersections, because technically they're going to need to be adjusted slightly because vehicles are going to be going this way for all of them. So we're just going to have to like change the errors around. Oh, this one is offline. That's fine. I don't really care enough to fix that. As long as the rest of them are good, and it's just the one that's slightly messed up. No, it looks like a couple of them are messed up. Alright, let's fix this. Dismantle you. Dismantle you. Put you in, making sure to line you up nicely this time. Same thing here. Ooh. Take that apart. Put a floor tile in. Not like that. It has to be centered on this one. And then they each get their truck stop on top. There. And there. And now they're lined up properly. Alright, so then that is all good. And we have to put these foundations in. And finally, finish this one off. And pattern removal, I guess. So yeah, I guess we can use the pattern removal tool to remove the arrows, which are falsely saying that you can't go this way. Alright. Believe that's all of that needed. Alright, now we need to figure out what's going into these truck stops and then drive the routes. And I think we probably are, because this is going to add like 16 tractors into there. And this might not even be all that we want. So I feel like we're definitely going to need to optimize those routes. But let's put the billboards on this side. And then billboard, 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 billboard. I really wish I had made this blueprint properly. In fact, I might go in and change it so that it has the billboards on all four sides. Alright, just two more. Yeah, I think, I'm pretty sure you did, yeah, and I was definitely wrong. And the annoying thing is the side I put the billboards on is the side that almost never faces the road. So, definitely a bit of a mess up on my part. Alright, so we need a whole bunch of floor tiles for the next row of truck stops. So then this one goes here. And this one goes there. And that one goes there. And that one goes there. Alright, so now we put these truck stops in, and these are the ones which will get the resources out into the Phase 4 factory. And we're out of encased industrial beams and iron plates. Yep, that figures. I'm gonna have to head back and restock again. Probably the single largest building spree I've done in this entire city in terms of just like the number of things in a short amount of time. Alright, down we go. Ah, okay. So we're having this problem again. So these are coming in at 30 a minute, I believe. I'm pretty sure this is max overclocked and summer slooped. Let's head in here and check. Right, it would be the second floor, which is where the final production happens here. Yep, so that's 30 a minute, which would be enough if I weren't trying to place down like 500 million things, which all require hundreds and hundreds of them. So I guess we're just going to wait and get started with what we have. Alright. So we can at least figure out like the top priority resources to get to the new city, which is going to be the ores, water and empty canisters, and probably plastic and rubber. And we have a lot of things to do. So let's make this one. Actually, let's grab the correct color and layout and everything. And bring that over to all of these. Alright, so far nothing is needed more than one full truck stop, except maybe empty canisters. So this should be fine, at least for now. We can add on to this later if we need to. Like we can add more truck stops per thing in the interface, but hopefully that won't be necessary. Or if it is necessary, only for a couple of things. A lot of the things we're doing with empty canisters, to be fair, are also over there. So maybe even those won't be as necessary, but probably still a whole bunch of things that use them. Like, I know aluminum uses water. And probably gonna have a lot of aluminum production, so we'll have to do that. Alright. So let's get over here. This is going to be iron ingots. This one is going to be deuterium ingots. Yeah, aluminum is kind of a menace, especially with the byproduct having to deal with those, is like classically one of the things that frustrates people the most. So, packaged water. We'll do those. Let's see, what else are we going to need? We're going to need... Let's just scroll through parts and see. Concrete is something we're going to need. Alright, so those are the first couple. Now on to the next couple. Just continue scrolling through parts. Alright, rubber and plastic are going to be helpful to have. No, don't put an enter there. And plastic. Alright. Check. And let's see. Probably, I mean, we're definitely going to need fuel, right? Although I guess fuel does its own thing, actually, and it doesn't go... Fuel does its own thing when it's being used to fuel tractors, so it's probably not actually necessary. Let's see, what else is there in here that we might want? Probably see if we can just fit everything in. Input reinforced iron plates. And oh, scrolling through buildings. That's why I wasn't finding anything useful. And we can go with motors. And then, I mean, that's half of the things we have already. What else is there? It'll actually be easier just to... Well, I have this handy spreadsheet, which at least tells me everything that I'm making. I don't have it labeled as how much I'm making, but... Crystal oscillators could be nice to have. So, crystal oscillators. Alright. Oscillators. Then there's... Oh, quartz is something that we're going to need. That's an ore, basically. We need access to that. We're going to need access to... Oh, steel ingots are another one, which will be very, very handy to have. Probably handy enough that I should have put them way earlier. Steel. Ingots. I forgot to label the raw quartz one. Let's run back and do that real quick. Raw quartz. Steel ingots. Let's see here. Iron ore, motors. We're going to need canisters, right? Did I already do canisters? supply out a bit. No, I did packaged water, but not canisters. Okay. Oh, the packaged water is actually going to be a bit annoying because we're going to have to figure out how to recycle those things. Like through the... Yeah, we're going to have a canister return. Input empty canister. So we're also gonna have to have a spot on the interface to return empty canisters, because otherwise they would all just wind up on that side and not be useful. So what else? Packaged oil and water. Have packaged water. Probably don't need much packaged oil. Let's see here. I guess we could do... So I have total on this spreadsheet 26 things listed. A lot of those are ores though, or things that I'm not intending to use much of any. So let's just add heavy modular frames and computers, because I know those will be needed at some point. Heavy modular frames. Heavy modular frames. And computers, because we need to make supercomputers with those at some point. Alright, so then we have all those. We have 2 more spots. And we can do high-speed connectors. And I guess packaged oil can make it in. It's probably fine. Or no. Yeah, we have 2 more spots. So, make this high-speed connectors. High-speed connectors. And then this last one can be packaged oil, I guess, because it might be needed for something at some point. Alright, so we have all of these. I'm not sure this is literally everything this factory produces. In fact, I'm quite certain it isn't. But if we go through the spreadsheet, which I actually don't know that the spreadsheet has everything, but we have iron ore, which isn't needed because we just process it to ingots. We have reinforced plates, check. We have motors, check. Canisters, check. Packaged oil, check. Packaged water, check. Oil, water, deuterium ore don't apply. Limestone doesn't apply. Packaged fuel we're not doing because... Let's actually check. How many things is fuel used for? Yeah, pretty much not much at the moment. Petroleum coke isn't actually being produced in the factory. Rubber, check. Portable miners, don't care. Iron ingots, check. Concrete, check. Deuterium ingots, check. Computers, check. Heavy modular frames, check. High-speed connectors, check. Quartz, check. Crystal oscillators, check. Steel pipes, technically could, but could just import the steel ingots and then make the pipes on site. So I think this might be everything, except for project parts, which obviously won't need to be shipped over. Let's just fly around and see if I see anything here that isn't being transported in some way. There's rubber, which we have. Those are all inputs for project parts. Those are the computers and high-speed connectors. And let's land quickly. Those are project parts and steel ingots. There's quartz and rubber inputs over there. Yeah, I think that interface should be almost everything. I guess I'll put in one more set for the fuel and the canister return. And then we're going to have to start driving these lines, which will probably increase congestion a lot, but I think I will do the optimizing it down to a single truck per resource thing. Actually, before I'll put the last two things in, and I think I'll just put them here on this side, because there's no reason to go all the way over there when I have plenty of space right here. So let's see. We get that to fit in there. Pretty sure that's how we had it. Where they align perfectly with the one on the left, but have a gap to the one on the right. Alright, so we have that. We have the pathway behind it for vehicles to turn around. And there we have that. And please snap to the blueprint. Alright. I actually didn't need two more truck stops, right? I only needed one more. It's fine, though. I'll find something to do with this additional truck stop at some point. So this will be fuel. Right, actually I have to paste the settings so that it looks right, and then make it input packaged fuel. That's not how you spell packaged. And then this one actually needs to be red, and its icon is canister, and the text is canister return. Alright, and then as for what I do with this one, is there literally anything that I need to send on through? No. I'm just going to dismantle this. Alright. So we have that. And now, before I go about actually driving any of these routes or getting them hooked up, I'm just going to do another check on project parts to see how we're going on that front. So we have 100, 200, 250-ish engines. 21 ACUs is a bit low. What's going on there? Seems like there should be more than that. This is them. It's still... The automated wiring is still being a problem, which I thought we had fixed with the Caterium upgrade. But I guess not. Let's hop in here and take a look. %100 there. We have to look at the bottom row to see what the problem is. Not enough cable? So we should be getting 100 cable a minute. That should be splitting between those two. Is it? It's a stupid belt speed problem. It's so annoying. That belt has to be 120 to keep up, but it was only 60. Oh, we've lost out on so many ACUs because of that. Alright, I'm going to summer sloop the ACU production so that I can't fully sloop it, but I can at least help it a little bit so that it can get back on track. So 1.75 per minute. Alright, so that's fine then. Let's see, 1.75 per minute. And we had 20 in there, so 80 divided by 1.75 is 45 minutes. That's plenty fast. Modular engines. How many modular engines were we looking at here? It was this one. 230-ish. So if we head all the way over there, then are you functioning properly? 100% there, 2 a minute. And we go up to the second floor. And fly up. And it's 100% there, 1 a minute. So 3 a minute, 270 divided by 3 a minute is 90 minutes. That's like an hour and a half. So that's going to be really close then, like right about the end of the stream. And then the flexible frameworks, I'm actually thinking about it, and they might run out of space. Like they only stack up to 50 for some reason. And I need thousands of them. Or versatile frameworks is what they're called. 100, 200, 300, 400, 800, 1200, 1600. Yeah, I'm going to need to move some of these versatile frameworks now, because otherwise I think it'll run out of space before it gets there. So let's... I was planning on setting up like a fancy like truck route or something to take these, but I'm just gonna manually pick them up and drop them off in a box. So let's head on over here, drop off a whole load of versatile frameworks. I actually think I probably have an industrial storage container full of versatile frameworks somewhere out in the desert from when I was producing them for phase 2. So these actually aren't a problem. Alright, let's get here. Alright, there's a giant long belt of smart plating. There's some weird... I have no idea what's going on here. That was a second smart plating one. Alright, we are just going to put a quick foundation out, which I guess we'll bring it down from there so that it lines up. And we put storage containers there, and third storage container there. And then we disconnect that because it's not needed. Put belt there. And congratulations, you're getting flexible frameworks, or versatile frameworks, or whatever they're called. Approximately a box full of those. And I guess we'll run back, grab the rest of them, so that we don't have to make a billion trips later, like right near the end of the stream when it's finally done. Alright, so let's get over there and see what's going on. Alright, back over to the project part section, which is right here in the back. Did anyone else just see a tractor flying through the sky without a care in the world? Or was that just me? Pretty sure I saw a tractor doing things that tractors are not supposed to do. Alright, let's grab the rest of these, if we can store the rest of them in our inventory. Okay. Is this still producing? It kind of looks like it might not be. Sounds like it is. Alright. It just produces in batches of 4. Okay. That's working at 100%. And I can't realistically overclock it. And I probably don't need to anyway. Alright, let's just grab all the versatile frameworks we can and stick them in that box. The rest of the ingredients shouldn't require more than 1 trip each because they're just going to be a couple stacks. Ooh, I missed the hyper tube. In we go. And down. I probably need to set up hypertube cannons at some point to help move around more quickly. Oh, you were able to get a clip of it? Hang on. Alright. Yep. Yeah, no, it definitely existed. Alright. Fantastic. I don't know what that's about. Tractors should not be doing that. I believe we may have invented drones before they're supposed to be invented. That's interesting. Well, the nice thing about vehicles is that if they get off schedule, they will just teleport back to where they're supposed to be. So they could do stuff like that, and it might slow it down a little bit, but ultimately it's more funny than problematic. But yeah, drones before aluminum. We are doing great. Alright. So that's the versatile frameworks dropped off. Now we can head back and I guess one by one we'll take this optimization one thing at a time. So the first step is going to be the iron ingots. Those get dropped off to all sorts of places. Alright, so we're back here. And we need to power all of these truck stops up. So let's run this power along. Alright. And then we'll just have to hook one of these up to an actual power source, and then they'll all be good to go. Also need to bring the power across to the other side. Alright, and power line there into... Alright, that's too far away. Let's put a little stop there. And all of those are powered on. And my poor max consumption is going to spike up a little. I was able to decrease it by so much when I was turning all of those truck stops off, and now I just add another 500 million. Alright, so iron ingot. Where do all the iron ingots get used? I have to make sure I get every single one. So, man, iron ingots are going to be annoying because the back of all of these things where I haven't edited them shows an iron ingot, but it isn't real. I should change that. I should change that to literally anything other than something that's actually used. So we're going to go row by row, just street by street, figure out where all the iron ingots get used. So, this first street, looking like no iron ingot usage. Alright, then we go back. This is just water and stuff. Nothing to worry about there. Alright, so this is where the iron ingots come from. And it's a whole lot of canisters. Plastic. Alright, I see an iron ingot input on this road. Or just off of it. So we have heavy modular frames production, as I believe what this is. Yeah, heavy modular frame production requires iron ingots. So let's write that down. Iron ingots used in HMF. Not used int, used in. Not that the exact typing matters, but... Alright, so that's this entire road. And it was just the heavy modular frames. Then we go back to the next road. And we run along this way. We need to make sure not to miss any. Missing even one would be very bad. Alright, none there. Alright, reinforced iron plates. That's another one. And then we have nothing there. A whole bunch of random junk there. Are iron ingots really not used that much? Am I just missing the portions of the factory where they're being used? Right, back to this road. We have iron ingots for steel. And also versatile frameworks, but... Alright, then we keep on running. And this is motors. Alright, so then we keep going along this way, and smart plating. It feels wrong. That feels like I'm missing something. Okay, I think there's another road back here. Maybe? If I head back here, is this the extent of it? Alright, there's technically another road back here, but it doesn't do anything. Alright, that's still 5 locations, which means theoretically 4 tractors that I can take out. Now I just need to... Alright, how am I going to do that? So I need to find all of the tractors, remove them, and add the new one in, but preferably without causing any disruptions in the meantime. I think we're just going to have to cause some disruptions. So... yeah, what would be the best way to do this? If I drive the new tractor route first, and then start dismantling tractors, it'll be impossible to tell whether the tractors I'm dismantling is the new one. So let's... I guess we're just going to have to let some things run out of iron ingots temporarily. Alright, so the first stop is HMF. I'm going to take that apart. And theoretically, iron ingots should be like incredibly saturated with everything. So they should last a good while just on reserves. Even for the relatively high quantity stuff, like heavy modular frames. Alright, so we're going to wait here, wait for a truck to show up, and dismantle it. And I have plenty of inventory space, but not enough to take an entire tractor's worth of iron ingots. Here we go. I'm gonna let it drop the whatever couple of ingots off first, and then dismantle you. And that should have left a dismantle crate somewhere. I'm not sure where it's put that. But let's clear all of these iron ingots out. And I do need to find the dismantle crate because otherwise my game will crash if I try doing this too much. So let's just get all of those guys out. The dismantle crate anywhere in this general vicinity. I feel like it isn't. Alright. Maybe I was just able to hold all of them in my inventory. Doesn't seem like that should be possible, but maybe it happened. Maybe my inventory is just very large. Alright, let's clear out as much space as possible, just to be sure. Alright, so that's heavy modular frames disabled. Next up, we need to find reinforced iron plates. And disable it. Is that what you're doing? Yes. Reinforced iron plates, get out of here. Yeah, alright. I think my inventory was just able to tank it, which is impressive. I really wish there isn't... There's got to be an easier way of, like, mass removing things. Is there a hotkey? Oh, control drag. I can do that. Okay. Okay, so that's heavy modular frames, reinforced iron plates, have their iron ingots removed. Next up is steel. So we go here. Alright, that's what you're up to. You're the steel one. I saw him coming out. I can drag click that. Clear out some more inventory space from random fuel and the like. And I don't think that left a dismantle crate anywhere. Alright. Next up we have motors over here. And here it is, actually at this very moment. I'll let it drop off some, just so that hopefully production will last a little longer. And then take it apart. All right, and then finally, smart plating. So there should be one coming along into this. You? No, you're just a random extra tractor. How about one of you guys? I sure hope not. Alright. Just waiting here. We got pretty lucky with the last couple that they all happened to show up at that exact moment. Not getting lucky with the smart plating. Alright. How is it taking this long? Normally, the truck lines are not very long. It's a bit weird that it's taking this long. There are all sorts of collisions going on. But, are you... No, you're moving plastic or something? Aha! Here he comes. I just realized you can use that to scan. See what they're bringing. I'll let you unload first. And then dismantle you. Clear all this junk out of my inventory. Let's see, I need to save some... I don't need heavy modular frames. Alright, so that should be all of the iron ingots, though. So now I can drive the one iron ingot line which does the entire thing, including the finale thing over there. What's it called? Why am I blanking on what I've been calling it, the interface? If the tractor decided to take a fly over the factory? Yeah, maybe. Alright, so we go to iron ingot production, which is this one. And we might not get this drive at all correct first try. I don't want this to start on the road. I need it to start in here, facing this way, so that when I loop around, I don't loop right back into it. Alright, give you some fuel. Start recording. Stop there. Drive out and around. So now you drive this way. And we should hit HMF at some point over here. Alright, there it is. So we'll stop in here, unload, then drive around back onto the street. The next one is reinforced iron plating, which I believe is the next street up. And yeah, it's right here. This is really testing my memory on where all the things in this factory are. Alright. Reinforced iron plating, check. Now we loop back around and out. Now we keep on driving. Steel and motors are going to be on this road. So we go left here into this, unload there. Then we come around and back out. And I think... oh gosh, I don't know where the motors are. I know where the smart plating is. I don't know where the motors are. Pretty sure they should be on this road as well. I think if we could just go this way, we'll run into it. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, we've trampled over a factory cart. So this is the iron ingot input for that. Then we loop out. So now we need to head over this way for the smart plating. And not get hit in the process. Alright, here we go. So that's everything for this section of the factory. Now we cycle around and out, and I think we can take this road, and this is the right road for the interface. So we head down here. We're gonna have to do a U-turn to get facing the right direction. But there's the iron ingots there. So we turn here, past the concrete and the packaged water, and in there, load her up. Out and around and back onto the road. That section is definitely a bit awkward because we are definitely just wholly facing the wrong way. So now we just need to bring this back to the iron ingot production, which, gosh, I think is on this road up here. definitely been here before. So we drive along this way. We don't get hit at the intersection. Continue driving along. Alright, home stretch. Just have to make this U-turn and turn into the checkered flag. Alright. Around. And in. Alright, we did it. We somehow managed to get that pretty much perfectly first try. Iron loop. Save. Turn in real left and pass on the checkered flag. Yep. Alright. So we've saved that path. Now we just have to enable autopilot, hide the path nodes, and send it off. And hopefully that's enough. Alright. Well, it's going to be doing its best, but hopefully that'll work. If it doesn't work, then like the entire factory is going to fall apart, but feels like it should work. The downside is now the route is much longer, which means theoretically the vehicle's storage capacity might be more of an issue, but I think it'll still be fine. Maximum transfer rate 4 stacks per minute. So for iron ingots, that's what, 400? How much is a stack of iron ingots? We might need to use tractors, or we might need to use trucks to increase the throughput. Hopefully we won't, because it would be tremendously annoying if we did, but we might. Alright, so that is iron ingots. I guess we can do the next one, which would be caterium ingots, which hopefully I think will be, pretty sure will be easier. I don't think it requires as many stops. So obviously we have that one back there, and then we have, we're still going to have to scan through and look for every single stop that uses caterium ingots. Alright. Nothing on the first row, unsurprisingly. Second row looks like also not. That makes sense. I'm pretty sure these rows were constructed before we had caterium on this city. So we move on to the third row, which is where I think we start seeing caterium. Alright, I see a caterium input there, and the caterium output. So we have crystal oscillators. I'm standing in the middle of the road. Why am I doing that? I'll stand off in a nice safe location. Deuterium used in crystal oscillators, which are right across the street from the caterium output, so that's easy. Then we just go along this way. We have reinforced iron plates, no Caterium there. There's the heavy modular frames, no Caterium there. Alright, so then we move on to the next row where we have Caterium for project parts. Project parts. And computers. Computers. Is that all? I believe that's everything. Which makes it pretty easy. Also, Caterium are definitely low enough quantity that a single tractor will definitely be fine no matter what. Alright, so this is moving 15 items per minute here. It's hardly anything. Alright, waiting for a tractor to show up. There's one stopping in the Caterium ingot output, just across the road. Wonder which one that is. Wow, I got randomly turned around for no reason there. Okay. Why is that one stopped there? Apparently no reason. It just kind of felt like it. Alright, here we go. Here's a bucket load of Caterium. I'll let it drop it off first, and then dismantle it. So that's removed from crystal oscillators. Next we go up to project parts and computers. Alright, that's the smart plating. Alright, can I... How far away can I scan with this? Alright, both of those are carrying rubber. That one is empty, is probably the smart plating one that just unloaded. Alright. You are Caterium. And I don't know what that was all about. It seemed to show up and then immediately leave. That was Caterium for the computers. Got it. Okay. We'll deal with that later. Alright, I see a tractor bringing in 13 Caterium, which is kind of an embarrassingly low amount, but take what you can get. Okay, now it's empty. We delete it. That's project parts. Done. Alright, then right over here is the Caterium input for computers. And it seems to be getting either thousands or nothing, depending on what you trust. I assume the maximum transfer rate there is inaccurate. that's steel. Don't care about that one. I can't scan far enough out for those. It will be coming from this way. Alright, just sitting here waiting for a tractor to show up. How is the maximum transfer rate 1100 stacks a minute? Unless the tractor was literally, like, teleporting here. Okay, there it is. That's the one. We're gonna let it drop off its Caterium just so that this can still do stuff. Actually, I have a bunch of Caterium in my inventory. I'll drop some of that off just to keep it occupied, and I'll stop by the project parts one and do the same thing. Alright, it's now empty. We delete it. Let's stop by the project parts output and give it some Caterium just to make sure that there aren't any problems. Because if these slow down or stop, then it's sort of a major issue. Alright, there goes the tractor falling off the map. Poor guy. Alright, so here we are at the Caterium output. Throw in a tractor, give it some fuel, and start recording. Load her up, and we drive around. So, actually, I think I have a good route for this, which means we'll be hitting that one last. We'll be getting that one on the way back. Alright, so now we turn this way, go all the way down to the end. We don't get hit at an intersection. Alright, all the way down to the end. This giant block was definitely a mistake. Just because it means all of the traffic has to go down this entire block. But sort of too late to fix now. Alright, so we go in here. We unload there. We loop around. We get onto this road. Immediately do a U-turn. And hang a right. The Caterium input is right here. So we go in here, unload there, take another turn, and out. Okay, now I think we go down this way and take a right, and yep, it's right here. It's right here. Alright, not the cleanest turn in the world, but we did make it. Alright, now we just have to drive down, do the U-turn, and in. Alright. U-turn. And there we go. Save this as Caterium loop. Enable autopilot. Hide path nodes. Off you go. And I think this is probably going to have issues with manifolding. Like, it's going to have to fill up all of the truck stops, like all the intermediate truck stops before it ever gets to the crystal oscillator production one, but that'll probably be fine. Let's just do a quick check that this is still working at 100%. %, there, all the way down to the end of the line is also 100%. Then we get up to the top row. It's definitely at least producing somewhat, which is a good sign. And 81%, 0% from a lack of water, 82%, 85%. Oh, is it a belt speed problem again? Stupid belt speeds. I need to use faster belts by default more often. I think when I get to aluminum production, I'll just produce like a monstrous amount of aluminum and just go from there. Alright, where's the packaged water? Where's this bottleneck? It's gotta be... Oh, it's this. Alright. Bottleneck fixed. Now this can produce... This can get rid of its empty canisters fast enough, which means it can produce water fast enough. Which means Caterium production should once again be accelerating. Alright. That is that. So yeah, this production line is definitely more worrying than the iron one. Also, I forgot to do the entire reason I did it in the first place, which is the interface. So I'm gonna have to redo that. Just the same thing over again, but include the interface this time as the last one, preferably. The manifolding problem is so severe with this that it might actually be an issue. Like, including the interface might cause all of this stuff to break. As long as we make it the very last one, then it should be fine, though. Alright. Where are you, a Caterium tractor, so I can try this again? It's not you. Is it you? No, that's an empty canister tractor from next door. That's a crystal oscillator tractor, which is a tractor for some reason instead of a factory cart. Alright, here you are. Alright, stop. Delete the Caterium loop path. Disable autopilot. Show path nodes. Start recording. So we load there. We loop around. And this is going to be a little bit less efficient in terms of the exact loop, because we have to go all the way over to the other side of the factory instead of just in this tiny little area here. Alright, so we drive along this way. And get stuck behind a slow-moving tractor. Come on, go, go, go. Alright, now it's gonna take its sweet time doing this U-turn. Alright, make it around. And now we go into this last one. And unload there. Then we come out and up this way, where we do a U-turn. Alright, that's that. Then we go in here and drive down a little bit into this one where we unload. Then we drive out and in here. And then this one is the immediate first one with no time to react. So in there, unload there, and then instead of just calmly going back to the Caterium production, which is right there, take a left here, and we drive all the way down. Okay, that's fine. We survived the crash with no real problems. All the way down here. And now here we take a right. And we drive past all of this. And then we U-turn here. And now we stop into the interface Caterium stop. That's going to have to be set to unload like all of them, but we can do that later. Now, finally, take a left and make our way back. Is it on this street? I think it's on the next one, maybe? Like the next one to the right. That's fine. We're going to have to get around facing the other direction anyway to get in. So we can just go down this way. And then we'll take a couple of rights here. Alright, autosave. Alright, then around here. And around here. And we have just about made it. Alright, in with no incident. We can now call this one Caterium Loop. Enable autopilot, hide path nodes. Off you go. Have fun delivering Caterium. And at some point in the distant future, it will start delivering Caterium to the interface, assuming we have positive Caterium production, which I don't know that we do. Alright. So speaking of Caterium production, one of the things it's used for is the project parts. How are they going? Where's the truck stop that I was storing them in? Is it this one back here? Yeah, okay, so we have our ACUs We have 100, 200, 300, almost 400 modular engines, which is not enough. We'll take those. We'll take those. And is there anything we can do to speed up modular engine production? It's already overclocked. It's already summer slooped even. It's going in at 2 a minute. So 2 a minute, and we have 100, 200, 300. So we have 400. So we need 100, which means that this would be done in... Is the top one still working? If the top one is still working, it'll be done like in like half an hour, which would be right by the end of the stream. Yeah, the top one is working. So this should be fine in principle. So let's also grab some versatile frameworks, which hopefully we have enough production of those as well. Otherwise, we're going to have to go hunting through the desert for wherever that other production line for them was. $100, 200, 300, 400, almost 500, which is not enough, so we are going to have to go looking for... It's probably just that one, isn't it? Probably that one. Let's drop off the stuff we're carrying now. And hopefully there's no more surprises in terms of productions getting disrupted or anything. I am worried about my new truck lines, since they've obviously never been tested. Alright, so we attach those boxes in, and then we get out of build mode, put the frameworks in there, and we put the engines in there, and we put the ACUs in there. So we'll put all of them, even though we don't need to use all of them. So this will at least get us to like proper progress bars where we know how many more we need. Alright, ACU's done. Engines and flexible frameworks have a lot more, so it takes a lot longer for them to go all the way in. They're going to run out of just around the same time, which is kind of funny. Alright, so we need 102 engines. 102 divided by 3 is 34 minutes. And we need 250 flexible frameworks. They're called versatile frameworks. Flexible frameworks is the alt recipe, but they are very similar names, so I get confused. So we can find the versatile frameworks by just stopping off at the random spots in the desert where it's likely to be. It's not that one. That is the encased industrial beams. I think it's that far one over there. So let's head on over. Say we can have 2 of the 3 project parts finished, just waiting on the last one. And we can then move some summer sloops around to get it a little bit quicker. Pretty sure this is what we're doing, right? Yeah. What's in this box? Oh, this is my exploration box. Alright. Let's grab 300 of those. And then I have to get back up onto that, which is going to be a bit of a challenge because I'm not expected to access it from over here. Alright, so let's just start laddering up. We're at a relatively high point here. A couple ladders should get us to a height needed. Alright, so with this much altitude, we should just be able to hover over and up. Yep, easy. Alright. Now we move over this way. To the modular engines. Now I'm pretty sure at some point I summer slooped like 3/4 of the ACU. Yeah, so I can take those now that we don't need production of them. And now I head over here to the modular engines. So level 1 is already slooped, but we can get level 2 going. Alright, let's pause on the door frame and then get the rest of the way up. Alright, that's an extra 0.75 modular engines per minute, which should push us just over the edge into finishing before the end of the stream. How does it produce 1.75 modular engines, by the way? Does it just produce 2 most of the time and then 1 occasionally? I guess. Let's hang out and see, actually. So it should either be producing 2 or 1. So we can't really overclock because the smart plating is a limiting factor. But alright, well, yeah, I guess it has to do that. It has to produce those last 1 on the previous cycle. So we can't overclock easily. Oh, we have all of these. There are a lot of modular engines that are just lying around, like in various nooks and crannies in the system, just because of how that works. So, if we were to just find all of those, we might be done now. That's the ACUs. That's another 24 modular engines. Alright, now let's head up here. And grab all of these. And there are a good number of them. And I'll just grab those as they're coming in. And what angle do I have to look at to see you? Does it even matter? I have 100 modular engines already. Alright, cool. That's that. Yeah, the reason I'm fine with that sort of thing happening is when you're producing a ton of them over an extended period of time, like you're producing thousands of versatile frameworks, for example, or probably by this point like tens of thousands of iron ingots, like the couple that get stuck in those spots are a rounding error. Like, who cares? But when you're trying to produce 500 of something, you can save some time by grabbing them. Alright, so now we can head back and finish Phase 3. A fair bit earlier than I expected, too. Alright. Head on over here. And throw down some versatile frameworks. Throw down some modular engines. And we're about to finish. Assume I didn't do the math wrong, which would be very embarrassing if I didn't grab enough flexible frameworks. Pretty sure I did, though. Yep, those are all the modular engines we need. Flexible frameworks, surprisingly close, considering I thought I grabbed like an extra 50, but apparently I didn't. But that's all the project parts complete. So for the first time in ages, we're yet to finish a phase. Alright.
Welcome to the Project Assembly Pioneer Progress presentation. Congratulations, the Phase 3 project part shipment is finally ready for delivery.
To sit back and watch a
On
cutscene.
delivery, Phase 3 will be completed and the main body will be constructed. You should know how this works by now. You'll get access to Tiers 7 and 8 in the hub. In fact, perhaps you should just go look at the technologies there yourself.
Alright.
It's all laid out so that even a monkey could understand it, so you should
Nuclear
have no
power,
issues.
aluminum production.
Speaking of which, I don't think you need a reminder about project parts. Instead, I will be providing some interesting facts. Did you know the average pioneer succeeds at saving the day?
Is
Did
that
you know
true?
the average pioneer knows how to optimize pipe throughput?
I feel like if
Did
I
you know
check
the
the
average
Steam
pioneer
achievements
stays late
list,
at
the
work
average
because they
pioneer
care
does
about
not
humanity?
succeed.
Anyway, I thought you might want to know more about your peers. Good luck in Phase 4.
Alright. And we send it off. And up it goes. If we check the map and looked at the crash landings, we would know the average pioneer does not succeed. Well, actually, this is actually something I noticed recently.
Phase 3 of
but
project assembly completed.
If we just take a
Six
quick
predictions
detour,
indicate pioneers should generally reach this point faster
this is
with above average
the hard drive
results,
thing here.
but we should all adjust our expectations
So the crash
according to the
sites
situation.
aren't
It is
necessarily
understandable.
all dead
The pressure and
pioneers.
complexity will only
Some of
increase
them
from
are
here,
just
so
dead
be sure
cargo
to take on
shipments.
Phase 4 with efficiency and competence.
Because, like, when you think about it, we never go up in those things. Like, we travel in an entirely different landing pod. So, theoretically, I mean, at least one of them died, right? Because there's the helmet in that one cave. But, theoretically, yeah, the items at the crash sites are odd because they're presumably hub upgrade materials that they were sending up. But yeah, we know at least one of them died because there's the helmet in the crash site, but the rest of them, theoretically, it's unclear. Also, what is going on? Why is the space elevator just entirely not visible? Is it because of the clouds? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fix-It definitely seems to care greatly about the safety and well-being of their pioneers. You know, that they're definitely very concerned with that. Well, back at it, thank you for the follow. And yeah, the map is also very small compared to the rest of the world. So, in fact, that would partially explain, like, the other cargo containers, like, why there are so many of them. It could be that maybe this, like, there was not all going to previous pioneers from here who died, but various pioneers in other parts of the world who might not even be dead. They might be just fine. Their cargo shipment just didn't make it back. You never know. Alright. So let's look. What do we have here? Tier 6. I don't know why it's still flashing. It's finished. So we have Bauxite Refinery, the Hover Pack, which will be wonderful. Logistics Mark V, which will be marginally convenient. It'll let us speed up a lot of our throughput in various ways. And let's see here. Hazmat suit, not really an issue, except obviously once we start working on nuclear stuff, it'll be necessary. This is all... I guess we could upgrade fuel to batteries. That could be a fun project. And then we get all this stuff. Nuclear power requires supercomputers, which requires aluminum, so it's going to be a while before we get to that. But aluminum is where most of your saves go off the rails. Me too. Yeah. My previous world, I made the horrible mistake of my main design decision was everything was going to be entirely isolated. Like, my production for computers would take raw resources from miners and make computers, and then same thing for supercomputers and everything else. And this worked very fine, except it meant that every time anything used aluminum, I had to set up an entirely new aluminum setup from scratch. And a lot of my late game factories just would randomly stop working. And why was it? Oh, it's because I did the aluminum setup wrong. So the good thing with this is I'm doing everything centralized for this save in the giant city, which we are currently directly below, which means I only have to get aluminum right once. If I can get aluminum production correct one singular time, it'll work forever for the rest of the save. So hopefully that'll be fine. Alright, so let's see, there's 17 minutes left until the end of the stream. So I don't really want to dive into setting up aluminum production right now at this moment, because I'm not going to get anywhere near close to finished. So I guess we're just going to continue tinkering around with all this stuff. We can check to see if the truck loops we are doing with iron and caterium are working. Alright, so this should be iron ingots. I guess we're only using one truck stop now. Alright, let's check, because it is distinctly possible that we might need to add an additional tractor on the iron line to keep up with production, because it uses a lot. Some of these places use a lot of iron. So I guess the easiest way to tell would be to look at the interface to the next section of the factory, because this is, I'm pretty sure, the last stop. So if this is getting any, then everything else is fine. But this isn't getting any, which means probably bad things for the rest of the factory. So aside from that, what would be the last thing in the loop? Let's head over to steel production. That might be pretty late. Or no, smart plating would be the last thing in the loop, naturally. And it's definitely emptying and not even... doesn't even seem to be receiving anything. Incoming transfer rate of 0 per minute. Well, The reason that would be the case is because even steel isn't getting enough. So if we head over here... Alright. That is very bad. So we need to just find the iron truck and follow it and see what's going on. And I think we're gonna need to either put a second truck on the line. Well, we need to either put a second tractor on the line or upgrade it to trucks or something. Because clearly this isn't enough throughput. Is this being split between the two? So theoretically, this should be getting 480 a minute of iron ingots into it. So it should be fine on that front. Yeah, okay, that's just freaking out because of the way this whole thing is laid out. So we're definitely getting enough in the docking station. The question is whether we're delivering enough to the tractor. And I don't see a tractor anywhere around here. Are you it? I guess by the time it comes back here, it would be empty. Alright, I think we may... How much is the difference between trucks and tractors? 48 versus 25, almost double. Almost double, but these roads are not designed for trucks. Like, if I try to drive this with a truck, it will probably just fall off and die. So, I guess I can make an attempt to drive it with a truck. But I also need to figure out all of the stops again. So I'd really rather find the tractor that's supposed to be delivering the iron ingots. Also, this is not filling up very fast. Is that really 480 a minute? I guess probably. But the outgoing transfer rate is only 290, which means the tractor is taking even longer than that. Yeah, so for iron and the other high quantity ones, we're definitely going to have to use trucks. Which is unfortunate because trucks are, like I said, not... These roads were designed for tractors. So... That's carrying water, that's carrying water. It is weird how long it takes. 4 stacks per minute. If it's 4 stacks per minute, and the tractor is 25 inventory slots, that means it's like 6, slightly more than 6 minutes per loop, which is quite a lot. Alright, where is this tractor so that I can hop on it and see all the places that it stops? It's not you. I guess it wouldn't have any iron in it. Well, the easy way to upgrade this would just be to add another tractor onto the line. If there's an empty tractor, which might be the one that I'm waiting for, Nope, it's going off in some weird direction. There's an empty tractor that might be the one I'm waiting for. Nope, it's also going that way. How about you? Alright, you're going off that way. So, what I don't get is maximum transfer rate is 4 stacks a minute. That should be 400, not 291. It's probably because of traffic. Alright, let's see if I can remember. I'm pretty sure that it stopped at 5 places. So it was HMF, steel, reinforced iron plates, two more. I can't remember. Please just say that it shows up. This could be this. It is doing a U-turn. It could be turning into this. It is. Alright, so we can hop on this tractor and see its journey. Alright, right, because I hopped in, it's all messed up. So let's just hop on top then. Let's stand here. And, alright, well that is expected. Can you just fall off so that you could respawn? Thank you. I'm going to make this road a little wider since I think we're going to be using a tractor. Now the downside is it's going to teleport somewhere. Ah, here it is. Alright. So we're on this one. It's driving along. The first stop is heavy modular frames over there. Then there's reinforced iron plates there. There's the interface over there. There's steel. There's two other that I'm not remembering. Oh, there's smart plating. That's one. Why can I not spell? Smart plating. Alright, by this point, literally the first stop and it's already empty. Is it just filling up manifolds, I guess? There's one more stop that I'm not remembering before I can just take a truck to it. It's probably... Gosh, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, and I cannot. Is it over there? No. It's not going to be computers. Could it be... I'm going to hop ahead. I know what's going on there anyway. It's just running out instantly. Alright, it's... No, that's steel. That's one of the ones I already counted. Alright. Oh, there's one place that makes steel manually. Yeah, motors. Alright, I'm pretty sure that was all of the stops. Alright. And this is the motor output one, right? Obviously. So I'm going to try to drive a truck on this route. and it probably won't go super well. But I have to make the attempt. Alright, here is the iron ingot output. Truck goes in. It is close enough to that to get fueled automatically. Alright, we start recording. We load there. We make this turn, which I specially widened. Alright, the next part, driving on the roads themselves are easy. The stops are not easy. Well, I guess they are easy now that any tractors that hit me just bounce off. That helps. Please. Bumper to bumper. Alright. We managed to get out of that traffic jam. Okay. Now we need to make a turn. And another turn. And unload a bunch of cargo. And I can't freaking see what I'm doing because of the camera. But, alright. We're going to have to smooth those nodes out, but it should work. Alright. No, we need to retry that entirely. Alright, let's retry that and try to make the turns properly. And we're going to have to be very careful on all of these turns, or else we'll mess them up. Alright. The truck goes in. It has fuel. We start recording. We load the truck. And make a very sharp turn. Alright, that's one truck stop successfully navigated. Then we go out and over to the heavy modular frames, which is going to be substantially more difficult just because of the fact that it turns out directly onto a road. So we unload there. And we turn and we make it. Alright. Now we need to get to reinforced iron plates, which are next. So those are up this way. And making these intersections in traffic is very, very difficult as a truck. Alright, so we can unload there, and I can't see what I'm doing, but I'm gonna turn. And get stuck on the boundary. And keep going. Alright. We recall that close enough. Now we have to get up here, take a left, go in here, unload cargo from truck, turn, and yeah, I think this isn't gonna work. Like, the truck is just slightly too big to get out there. I wonder, since the next portion of the factory is going to be isolated from this one, I can make further upgrades. So first let's just throw all that back in. And instead of putting a truck in, I'm just going to throw another tractor on the same route. So you go in, get your fuel, load, iron loop, enable autopilot, and have fun with that. 2 tractors doubles the throughput, and hopefully that will solve that problem. But it is 5:01, so I'm going to end the stream here. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I will be back on Friday, 2 to 5 for Satisfactory. If you also enjoy Magic the Gathering, I'll be back here tomorrow for that, also from 2 to 5 Eastern Time. So make sure to follow if you haven't already. And yeah, that'll be about that. I'm gonna end the stream. And next time we are going to finish optimizing all of these truck routes, make sure that the optimized versions actually work, and then once we have this interface set up, then we will move on. I might get a quick and dirty aluminum set up just like off of the city somewhere, just so that I can have a hover pack, because that will make everything much easier. So I'll probably do that next session. Other than that, we're just gonna continue finalizing this section of the city and then move on to the next one. So yeah, that'll be next stream. So yeah, make sure to be here on Friday if you're interested in that. Otherwise, I will be signing off now. And